Sharp Game here. Welcome to another episode coming at you from ChooseYourRelationships.com. Offer of Love Can't Wait, which can be found at Amazon.com. You know, I got a question the other day. Someone asked me, what does it feel like being black in America? Or better yet, what does it feel like being a black male in America? And you know, at the time, I was like, man, it's going to take me too much time to explain that to you. But I wanted to share what I would have said to this guy that asked me that. And he's from the Philippines. And if you know anything about the Philippines is a very unique place, and it's a very poor country. But if you ever meet a person that's from the Philippines, especially the women, you're gonna feel like y'all gonna hit it off real quick, more than likely. And where I'm at, in the part of the country where I'm at, I see a lot of women from the Philippines and a lot of brothers usually wife them up. And a lot of brothers live in the Philippines that I know. So I understand the psychology behind it and the history and everything. But when what he asked me was something that we as black people, we got to live through a different lens, and we have a different experience than anybody that's living in this country, even the people that come over here from other places. Because if you're a black male, number one, there's a lot of double standards in this country. And it seems like I never get the benefit of the doubt. I always have to have proof and backup plan and proof of this and proof of that. And, you know, I never have enough support. You know, I don't, it's always seemed like I always had one hand tied behind my back. You know, it's like the only way majority of people usually jump in or get involved into something that I'm starting up is I have to go over the hill first, or I have to get it popping first. Then people will come in and say, hey, yeah, what's up with that and this and that. But they never come in on the ground roots level. I always have to get it started first. But it doesn't happen with a lot of other people like that. It doesn't happen with white folks like that. White folks get on the ground roots level. Even people from other countries they usually get in on the ground roots level. But when it's my turn, the rules change. You know, people, even people that come over here from other countries, some of them will treat you worse than white folks in certain environments, in certain locations. So think about that. Some people will say, well, why is that? How does that happen? Because a lot of other people that come over here from other countries, they're trying to get brownie points. They want to fit in. They want to get close to the white folks. They want to get in the club, which ain't never gonna happen. But that's their mindset when they even before they come over here. That's their mindset. They get brainwashed going through the immigration process, really. But they're willing to sacrifice you to get whatever they want, whatever that is. And you might be cool with some of these people that come over here from other countries, but they're willing to throw you under the bus. to get whatever benefit or whatever brownie points or pat on the back that they can get from the white folks. And the reason why they do it, because they're allowed to do it. They can get away with it because there's a good chance that you're not going to be able to do anything about it anyway, especially if you're in a job environment. So that's why they are allowed to do it. People from other countries, they come over here, in most cases, treat you worse than the white folks that's over here. And then if you're a black male, you got to worry about. It seems like I always have whenever I'm traveling somewhere in America with my family and friends and everything. It doesn't happen every time, but it seems like always some type of freak incident comes about. It's always something. It doesn't happen when I'm by myself, though. Somebody always says and does something that's completely unnecessary. It's something that I know would never happen if it was a white person, if we were a white family. Because I've never really seen any white family get mistreated or unjust in any type of way. I've never seen cops harass white families or harass a white man or discriminate against a white guy for any type of thing. This happens. It doesn't happen every time. But it's happened in America when I'm traveling or driving or going through the airports or something like that. Something always happens. It doesn't necessarily happen to me directly all the time, but it's indirectly through the people that I have with me. Sometimes it could be women that's with me or another guy that's with me. But that type of stuff happens, It happens with a lot of people that I know. And, but I would prefer, personally, if it happened to me if I was by myself. Because sometimes the people that I'm with me, they don't really know how to handle that shit. And they kind of get too carried away because it's never happened to them before. And they don't know how to react to certain situations. They don't know how to respond. So that's why I would prefer to be by myself in situations like that. Because I've actually been trained, being that I was in the military, to respond in chaos or chaotic situations like that. Things that happen that's just totally disrespectful. It's like going to a restaurant and you're getting bad service and it's obvious that you're getting bad service. You don't even have to figure this out. You've been waiting for 45 minutes and you ain't got no food yet, right? And then you try to talk to the waitress or the waiter and they flipped out. They giving you attitude and you don't even have attitude about it. You're pretty calm, cool, and collective about it. And then you ask for the manager. The manager is worse. The manager just escalated the situation and calls the cop and the cops come and say, "Hey, I want y'all out of here." They want y'all out of here. Situations like that. That's happened to me when I was with my friends and family. But I wish that it didn't happen while I was with them. I would prefer if I was by myself, But that's what you got to deal with if you're a black man in America. And then you got to worry about driving down the street and a cop might get jealous of you because you're driving a car that doesn't necessarily fit who you might be, or maybe the car doesn't fit who you have in there with you. It could be an attractive woman, or could even be a white woman. Some guys get down like that. Or it could even be a white woman, and cops, he'll get jealous and stop you and harass you, ask you where you're going. Let me see your driving license. What you doing over here in this part of the neighborhood, or all kinds of stuff like that happens. Then they'll tell you to get out of the car, and y'all might be standing behind the car talking, and he's getting all nasty, rude, disrespectful, because he's trying to, instigate something. He's trying to get a rush out of you so he can have a reason to basically take you in and get you arrested and get, you know what I'm saying? That's the type of stuff that we have to deal with. This happens to a lot of younger guys too, black males, because a lot of times they don't understand, and some of them just don't know because how a lot of the cops get down, because no one has ever really talked to them about cops. And a lot of times their parents never really had an experience with the cops, so they can't really go too deep in the details and tell them, what might happen or anything like that. But what I would say is cops aren't your friends. That's what I would say. Even I know some cops, but we ain't friends. Hell with all that shit. And then when you're out and about, if you're a black male, you have no friends in this country. You have no friends. No one is going to back you. No one is going to stand up for you. No. What you have is allies, and then some people are agents. That's it. Allies and agents. Now, some people will say, well, wait a minute. My girlfriend is white. Oh, I'm cool with some white people. Oh, I'm cool with some people that's from Japan or China or Mexico or whatever. Look, when these people come over here from these other countries, they're coming over here to live a better life, and they're coming over here to compete against you. If you're a black, they're not coming over here to be anybody's friend. So, the thing you have to understand is, if you're a black male, is there's a personal relationship and a business relationship. And when it's time to be friends, during our personal time, we hang out, drink beer, look at football, basketball, boxing. We might even go to the beach, might even go on a vacation together. That's a personal relationship. Now, when it's time to do business, when it's time to do real business, when it's time to own some shit, when it's time to break bread, when it's time to really make some power moves, when it's time for them to get rid of you on your job and because they want to make room for their cousin, that's just business. I mean, because I've seen some white women get their boyfriends fired or get their so-called fuck buddy fired, or some black guy that they thought was cool fired because their cousin needed a job. So, of course he didn't know he didn't know why he didn't think that she had anything to do with it, because what you have today is you have a lot of white people and some non-white people that work in these jobs. The person that you think that is screwing you over is hiding in plain sight. This is what's going on out here today. And they make it seem like they don't have anything to do with the decisions that's being made a lot of times, but they have everything to do with it. They're making most of the decisions. And what happens is, one guy I know, he got his girlfriend actually called him in an office and made it seem like the general manager had to let him go because of the times and his job production and him being late 2 times within the past 6 months. So he wasn't cutting it anymore. But in reality, she was behind the whole thing. And to top it off, 2 months later, her cousin started working there. I mean, he couldn't make it so obvious. He couldn't hire her brother or sister. So she just, her cousin started working there. So I've seen this play out many times. But, that's just business. It's nothing personal. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you got to deal with. You got to deal with people saying that, it's not, racism doesn't exist. It's not like you think it is, and then you're never going to get the benefit of the doubt either. Most people in America kind of or brainwash that if a white person is not saying anything or not, it could be really anything. If a white person is not doing the speaking, everyone assumes that it's a lie, or most people think that it's suspect. Until proven that it's true. It's like, for example, if I'm on a podium speaking about, it doesn't matter what it is. If I'm at the podium speaking, people kind of, they kind of, I might say a good 50% of the people will probably say, well, I need proof. I need proof. What's your credentials? Where'd you graduate from? They all got a long list of shit that they'll start pulling up. But they don't do that if it's a white person. But no one wants to talk about that. They kind of like play it off and be like, it's not like that. People aren't like that. And then, it's like, there's white people have privileges that we just don't have. If a white person does something, commits a crime, they'll be like, oh, he's crazy, he's depressed or whatever. We do a crime, oh, he's a thug, criminal. Then I go straight to jail. I get no benefit of the doubt, none whatsoever. No empathy, no nothing. And then, if you're a black person, they always portray us on the news like we're the worstest people in the world. They make it seem like black people went all around the world and destroyed civilization and colonized all the countries except for Ethiopia. And they make it seem like we colonized all the country, dropped bombs on countries and destroyed civilization, destroyed all people's history, their language, their culture. But I'm like, wait a minute. I said, look, I ain't never raped nobody. I ain't never killed nobody. I ain't never lynched nobody. I ain't never stolen nobody's history, culture. I ain't never burned them. I never stabbed nobody in the back. So until that happens, get off my back. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, take this incident with Colin Kaepernick, 49ers quarterback. I mean, he basically didn't stand for the flag because of the injustice and the mistreatment of black people in America, right? But they did. The media watered it down and tried to say, oh, he don't have no respect for veterans. Oh, he don't have no respect for, he's not a patriot. Oh, they tried to downplay and make it seem like it's all about something else that it is not really. And they'll use that incident as a way to get rid of him. And this happens all the time. But if you say, hey, if you tell anybody what you think or what's going to happen in advance, they won't believe you. Just like if you tell someone that you got harassed by cops or something happened to you, people will say, oh, come on, you're full of shit, you bullshit, and I don't believe you. So it's like, sometimes I don't even bother to share anything with anybody because most people just not going to believe you, because most people have been so bombarded and they're broken. I mean, they have a hard time believing in themselves. So, they ain't going to believe you in most cases. And a lot of people, a lot of black people, just a lot of people in general across the board are cowards. They'll do almost anything for anybody else, any cause, military, or whatever the case. But when it comes to standing up for them, they'll justify why they can't do it, or they'll just lay down. So this is what you really have to deal with in America if you're a black man. Plus, when it comes to, it seems like when it comes to anything financial, as far as like building something that you can pass down for your kids, hopefully, it seems like every time you try to start some type of movement in America, and especially if you're a black male, they're coming after you. You're going to be attacked, either sometimes politically and physically. And it's like, they always send the people that look like you to try to take you down too. They always, I don't know who's behind these agencies, maybe CIA, FBI, whoever. But whenever they want to take a black person down, they always send the people that look like you to take you down first. And if that don't work, then that's when they'll send the white people. And then when you're trying to have something like a nice car, nice clothes, nice house, anything that's nice women, a lot of people always act like, even some black people do this, even some non-white people from other countries do this. They try to downplay it. They make it seem like you're not supposed to have anything. They start asking questions like, is this your house? Is this your car? Are you sure you married to her? It's a lot of that I hear through other people. They make it seem, I think every black male, damn near everyone, black male I know, by the time they hit the age of 30, 32, 35, they figure out that, damn, they make it seem like I'm not supposed to have shit. You're not supposed to have no money. You're not supposed to have nothing nice. Everything is supposed to be raggedy, fat, and sloppy, and used goods. If it looks nice, smells nice, you ain't supposed to have it. This goes back to why a lot of cops think the way they think, because a lot of cops know that the laws and public policies is set up against us. So a lot of cops are trying to figure out how the hell you did it, because they know you ain't supposed to have it. And most black people aren't going to make it. That's just the reality. So the cops, even if a couple of entertainers or a couple of athletes or a couple of people in your city or your town or your community, wherever you live, even if they start making some major moves, they're going to be attacked. And if they're driving down the highway in their luxury car, cops is looking like, how the hell you got that shit? That's way, that's how it is in America. But if you go if you go elsewhere in other countries, it's not. It's a different game because in other countries they don't play by the status quo. See, in America, the status quo is the way to go for most people. Unfortunately. But at some point, if you're a black male, you're going to have to make a decision. Am I going to go status quo or I'm going to go my own way? At some point, regardless of who you are or wherever you live in the country, if you're a black man, you're going to have to make a decision at some point. And the decision you make, you're probably not going to be able to turn back. You know, once you get it going, once you get started. But these are just some of the stuff that you have to deal with if you're a black man in this country. And if you have like a family, you have to think about your family, your kids, your wife. You have to always be, you should always think ahead of time what could happen and try to have things covered just in case something does happen. And then you got to worry about people attacking your kids when they go to school. You got to worry about teachers. Teachers, they ain't worth a damn. You know, teachers ain't never really been worth a damn anyway, most of them. But then you got to worry about the cops attacking your kids, or the people in the community attacking your kids, or people. You got to worry about your kids on the way coming from school now. I mean, it's been that way, but it just didn't get televised. I still remember when my parents used to tell me when I was younger, certain days of the week, be home by dark, period. And they didn't tell me why until I got older. And that's because on certain nights of the week, the white guys had fun with kids, if you know what I mean. You know, but these are just some of the things you have to deal with as black men in America, as black people. We have a different experience than anybody else. Even the black people that come from other countries, or even the non-white people that come from other countries, we're in a different position than they are. Because, see, the people that come over here from other countries, they're coming on their own by choice. No one's forcing them to do anything. And us, if you're born and raised here, we're descendants of slaves. Our ancestors were slaves. My mother and my grandmother and my great grandmother lived through slavery, black codes, Jim Crow, all of that. And half of my grandmother's family, all of it, they got wiped out. She was the only one that's left, and she got adopted. And she's half white. So she survived somehow, some way. I don't know. You know, but that's the experience that we have in this country. Now, other people that come over here from other countries, they have their own land before they came here. So if the immigration get tired of them, or too many of them coming over, they can send them back. Or if they get tired of being here, they can go back home. Now, the people that's born and raised here like me, that were basically stolen. Everything was stolen and we were captured. My ancestors, great grandfathers and grandmothers basically were captured back in the day, and everything was stolen. I can't go anywhere. Where am I gonna go if I get tired? I mean, maybe I can find somewhere to go, But we're not attached to any land. That's the difference between me and a person that's from Kenya or the Sudan. We're from the same tree. We're from the same root, but on a different limb of the tree. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. We're a totally different position than someone that's from Sudan, or someone that's from Kenya, or someone that's from Johannesburg, or someone that's from any part of Africa. We're in a totally different position. They are attached to their homeland. They have their language. They have their culture. Everything we had was stripped of us over here. My grandmother's first language is not English. I don't know what it is, but I know it ain't English. And she's so old. She was 102 when she died this year. She was so old. A lot of shit it was so tragic that happened back then. She don't remember everything. She forgot. Because that's how awful it was, and tragic and mind-blowing it was back then. So if you like what you heard, subscribe to my channel. Check out my blog, chooseyourrelationship.com. Until next time, Sharp Game is out. Peace.